In a very short space of time, personal preferred pronouns will go the way of driving around a car alone wearing a mask. Preferred pronouns are one of the most stupid vestiges of one of the most stupid practices that nobody really got into, but people did it, just like the neck tattoo, because they thought it was cool. But in retrospect, everybody says this is the most stupid thing anybody's ever seen. In fact, whenever you see pronouns, he, him, she, her, you think, oh no, not one of those. The same reaction to when people drive around a car with a mask on and they're by themselves. Or the person who wears the mask under their chin, which I have no idea what that's about. At least in the car, they're wearing it correctly. The mask and the pronouns. Two examples of how incredibly stupid we are. Because let's face it, people are just stupid. There's no critical thinking skills. They will do whatever you tell them to do. Here, stand on this adhesive strip 6 feet away. You won't get COVID if you stand here and if you stay 6 feet away. Remember those plastic shields at checkouts? People would always turn around the corner and say, what was that? I can't hear you. It kind of defeats the purpose of it. How about walking down the aisle of a supermarket in one direction? Because COVID only goes in one. I mean, it's the most stupid thing. But, some people love the mask. They still love the mask. During the Daniel Penny trial, did you see those awful, terrible, lousy courtroom artists? By the way, just an aside, is it possible to get a decent courtroom artist anywhere? Even the people who hang around, the Museum of Modern Art, with easels can do a better job than this. Even Daniel Penny says, who's that? Nobody recognizes themselves in any event. But when I see two people wearing a mask on the jury, I think, uh-oh. Because a mask is a sign of demented, of a lemming. And somewhere in the annals of stupid, nothing really gets to me like the pronoun did. It was the most stupid thing in the world. Nobody even questioned it, but it just showed you that anything that is presented as different or hip, no matter how stupid it was, would be loved by most people because most people are stupid. What's your name? Jerk. These names, these sounds that didn't even make anything. Not to mention, we were inundated with these demented loons who would talk to themselves either in a car or in front of a phone, upload it to Instagram or TikTok, pronouncing, establishing their existence as some quasi-genderless whatever. Those days, I trust, are over. Those days are done. Those days are finished. Those days are through. Because whenever we see this, it reminds us of how bad we were. Now, by the way, remember, these people aren't going away. They're going to go dormant for a while. They're like herpes. They kind of go dormant. They kind of relax. They recess into the spinal cord of humanity only to be seen again when there's a flare-up. Something may come. I don't know. Now, the best news, I think, that accompanies the Trump MAGA movement is the fact that we're not going to be seeing these imbeciles for any time soon. I think it's safe to say they're done and they're finished. And I think with Bobby Kennedy at the helm, we'll get rid of a lot of this COVID lunacy. We're a country that basically had Fauci tell us, look, these masks don't work. They don't do anything. And it didn't matter because people love the mask. It was like swaddling or Linus's blanket. I would always ask people, hey, you smell that? Yeah, the mask doesn't work. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. I don't know what they thought it was. Especially when people had, I love this, designer masks with thin silk. And we are demented. We are so stupid. We are so dumb. I hate to say it. We're supposedly at the top of the food chain. We always talk about this. We're the top of the food chain. I think we are dumber than any animal. Listen, dogs, I think, are the greatest things in the world. The more I think about them, I don't even have a dog because I don't want it to walk them, or rather, they walk me, because let's not kid ourselves. You don't walk a dog. They're in charge. standing behind it with an inverted plastic vegetable bag from the store, picking up some warm, steamy stool. No thanks. Sorry. It's not my idea of a good time. That's a New York City reality. But that aside, they are better than human beings. They don't kill each other. They don't hurt children. They don't sell drugs. They don't commit crimes. They basically live just fine. And whenever they get into a fight with another dog, what they do is they'll kind of roll over and expose their neck. But I digress. We are soon going to be seeing the end of these freaks. And by the way, let me also tell you something, a little heads up. One day, very, very soon, somebody will say, hey, guess what? Tattoos are out. They're passé. They've lost their favor and their flavor. And the people are going to say, what? Yeah, guess what? They're considered low rent and trashy. There was a comedian recently who said, I don't know who it was, but it was true. He says, if you see a 20-year-old kid covered in tattoos, his name is probably Todd. He's a barista at some Williamsburg, hot spot. But if you see a guy who's 75 years old covered in tattoos, he's an escapee. He's a serial killer. He's a murderer. In those days when you covered your entire, one tattoo or two, it doesn't really matter, the Navy or a cross or Marines or mom or something, that was fine. But to have your entire arm covered with it, it goes to show you that you absolutely are demented.